Hi, I went over through how to do the first assignment, just the basics on what we're doing. So the objectives are going to be margins, line spacing, tabs, footers, page numbering, justification, section breaks. So there's quite a bit to do, and we're basically going to recreate what's on the bottom half. Okay, so I've started typing over here. I've kept the top half just to refer to it, and we're going to look through to margins and line spacing first. So the margins, a bit of a trick because I'm going to go to inches instead of centimeters. I have to do a little bit of back end stuff. So I'm going to go to File and Options. Under Advanced, I'm going to go down to what says Display. There we go. And I'm going to make the measurements. It may default to centimeters. I'm going to call it inches. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I want to mess with the margins here. So right now they're at 1 inch and 1 inch, and I'm going to right click on there. And I think you have to double right click to get page setup to come up. This is one way to get there. And I'm going to say the margins on the left are going to be 1.5 inches, and on the right are going to be 2 inches. And say OK. You see everything squishes together, right? So and you can see the gray part of the margins is a little bit longer on each side now. Okay. The line spacing set at 1.5. So in my paragraph, I'm going to right click and say paragraph, and I can change my line spacing to 1.5 lines. Okay. I'm going to make bold text look bold. I know the heading was bold. And I can right click and go to bold, or I can highlight something. It defaults, it jumps up thinking what I want to do, or at the top here is bold as well. And what else? Use font size for all text 12 point Times New Roman. So I'm going to highlight all the text. I'm going to go up the top here, and I'm going to say the font is Times New Roman as you recently used, or I can type a T in here to get to Times New Roman. And I'll start to get to it, and here we go. Or I can scroll down and find it here in alphabetical order. And the PQRST Times New Roman, there it is, and it won 12 point. Okay. Use tabs for the software list and not the spacebar. This is really important. So the next part at the bottom here, I'm just going to zoom up a bit, is the list said product name. And then to get to the next one, I don't hit the spacebar. I say company name, and then jump over a couple of spaces to practical use. I won't worry about spreading it out too much yet. And I can tell I use the tab, not the spacebar. If I hit this little button here, it shows me everything that's going on. And so I better not see little dots here, because some people try and line things up by using little dots. It just never works. So the tab is really good. And we'll play with the tabs later on how we set the tabs. With the tabs to move things in, and that way we can line up our columns really easily. Okay. I won't finish the list here. Create a footer with your name and create a header with the date and assignment number. So a footer is at the bottom of the page, and to get into the footer I just need to scroll to the bottom of my page, and it's in this gray section here, and if I double click in the gray section I can get into the footer, and I need to put down my name, and that'll show up on every page. Okay. And if I move to the top, because I double clicked in the footer, I also get to see what's in the header, and I can put my stuff in there. So it's going to be Word Assignment 1. And I can still, if I go back to my Home tab, I can still center things and move them left to right, whatever I need to do. Okay. And then they also asked you to insert a footer with the page number on it. So you could type the number 1, but then every page after that's going to say number 1 as well. So we could get fancy and say insert. And way over here there's a footer, and we can pick from different types of things here. And so here it says like page 1 of 1, and that'll go in the footer. Okay, I better type my name back in here again. And what happens is, then if I had another page, if I go move to another page, all of a sudden the bottom of that page is going to say 2 of 2, and the first page says 1 of 2. So that's how the footer can count for you. You don't have to worry about it. I'm going to turn off this show hide tool because it gets distracting. You need to fully justify the main paragraph. So if I highlight the main paragraph, I need to justify it. So it's a paragraph thing. If I right click, I go to paragraph, and I'm going to, where is it, alignment, it's going to be justified. Let's see what that does. It gives us a nice straight lines. Okay. And then there's changing the margins down here is different. So because if I change the margins, it goes for the whole document, I'm going to add a break, and it's going to be a section break. And so if I can't remember how to do that, I could Google how do you add a section break. But I won't make you do it this time, I will next time. I had to Google it because I forgot. And so I'm going to go here to page layout, and there's breaks, and it's going to be a section break, just continuous. It just means I get start a new section on the same page, but I get to change what's going on down the bottom there. It's hard to see, but if I go back to the home show hide thing, there should be a section break thing right here. Okay, and so then I can talk down at the bottom half, and I should be able to change my margins to back to 1 inch and 1 inch, and it shouldn't affect the paragraph stuff above it. It should just mess with down here. You'll see that it's smaller margins, but if I click up here, they're larger margins. And then I can spread this out using the tab button to make it, I think it's supposed to hang over the edges on each side, something like that. Okay, and then I can finish the rest of my list. And make sure you save the document as Word Assignment 1, File, Save As, and then